I started off this project by getting this large Valentine's Day sign from Dollar Tree. And using a little scraper tool, I just took that metal heart right off. Once that was taken off, I just sanded that surface down until it was completely smoothed. So now for the bottom coat, I'm actually using a darker surface. So I'm using this Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. It's just this brown chalk paint. This did require about 2 coats, and you just want to let the first coat dry before you go on to the second coat. And then I'll be going over that brown with this Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And this did require another 2 coats. However, I wanted this to have a really nice weathered look. So I didn't make my paint job absolutely perfect. You could still see some of that brown kind of peeking through. And for the top coat, I wanted it to have a gray tint to it. So I'm using this Folk Art chalk paint in the color Imperial Gray. And for this, I only did 1 coat of this color. And then you want to just go ahead and allow this to completely dry. Once dry, I just used my sanding block to go all around the edges of the sign and the middle of the sign if you prefer that as well. But definitely just paid close attention to those edges just to give it a nice weathered look. And then you could go ahead and just put that sign aside. And now I got the plastic plates from Dollar Tree. They came from the party section. They come in a package of 8, but I'm only going to be using 3 of them. So for this part, you could absolutely spray paint these if you find that easier. I tried doing that. I don't know if it was the cold weather, but the spray paint just did not adhere very well. It dried up and it got kind of bubbly. So I'm using some chalk paint by Waverly in the color Plaster, and this did just require about 3 coats, and you want to allow those to completely dry before moving on to the next step. And once those were completely dry, I then just grabbed that first sign that we worked on. I'm just placing those plates right on top of the sign. And then to adhere these onto the sign, I'm using this adhesive glue. You could also use E6000 with a mixture of hot glue. And I just held those down until the glue was completely dry. I usually put something heavy on top of this and let it dry for about 20 to 30 minutes. So now for this part, I did just use my Cricut to cut out some black vinyl that says "Eat," but I think you could also find some stickers from Hobby Lobby, or you could freehand this part as well. So I just put each letter on one of the plates. And look at how adorable this is coming out. So now for the edges of the plates, I'm using some black chalk paint with just a cut up sponge, and I'm just focusing that black paint all around the edges of the plates. And go ahead and allow that paint to completely dry. I then just made this buffalo check bow with the farmhouse ribbon that you could find from Dollar Tree. I just hot glued that right at the top of this sign, held it down until it was completely adhered, fluff that bow out as you're holding it down to let that dry. And there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed creating it. I hope this inspired you to create your own. If it did, please be sure to sprinkle the love. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.